Hi everybody, I'm Beth Hernandez. I'm the clerk treasurer for the town of St. John. And I have been asked to put together a presentation to clear up any confusion that there may be surrounding the PERF matter. So what I did is I created a PowerPoint presentation that I'm going to share with you. Any of the documents or the presentation itself, if you're interested in obtaining a copy, please feel free to reach out to me. My email address is bethhernandez.clerk@gmail.com, and my phone number is 219-365-4800. Just feel free to reach out and I will make sure that the documents are readily available for you. Also, if you have any questions about anything that I present, or if something comes to mind that maybe wasn't answered, again, please feel free to reach out to me and I will do my best to either provide you with the answer or research it and get back to you, okay? So again, I hope this is helpful for you. I hope it clears up any misunderstandings or any sense of confusion that there may be. Okay, so the first question that I've been asked pretty frequently is, are elected officials classified differently than employees as far as eligibility for PERF? And the answer to this is yes. Elected officials are definitely classified differently than employees. PERF requires employees to work a minimum of 1,000 hours per year in order to be eligible. The town of St. John requires employees to be considered full-time in order to be eligible. So the town of St. John is making the time requirements more than what PERF requires. Okay, the town of St. John is saying, no, you have to be full-time in order to be eligible as an employee. Elected officials are not required to work a set number of hours at all in order to be eligible. If you are an elected official, you are eligible simply for being an elected official. Do elected officials submit timesheets? I've heard this question a lot recently. And the answer to this is yes and no. Town council members do not submit timesheets, and they do not have to submit timesheets. Elected officials do not have to submit a timesheet. The clerk treasurer does submit timesheets. Again, I do not have to submit a timesheet, but my elected position is a full-time job. And so therefore, I treat myself as such. I submit timesheets bi-weekly like every other employee of the town does. The town manager, although I want to be very clear, he is not an elected official, also submits timesheets. People have asked about that. The town manager does submit timesheets, but he is not elected. He is an appointed position. Is the process for adding an elected official different than adding an employee into PERF? Now, in the Times article from May 8th, I was quoted saying, the process using the PERF resolution is no different than when they added a town civilian police employee a new position in 2016. Mr. Austin is quoted saying, elected officials are in a special category and defined differently, while Hernandez said the same resolution has to be utilized across the board. I am not disagreeing with Mr. Austin. I fully understand that elected officials are defined differently, but I disagree with him in that the process for adding an elected official is no different than adding an employee. My answer to this question is no. There is no difference. I have reached out numerous times to PERF. Most recently, I started taking names. Joy and Maritha from PERF both stated that the process is identical for the addition of any employee or any elected official. The exact same process is used across the board, even though elected officials are defined differently. Same process, identical process per PERF. Another question that's been kind of heated is, what is the triggering document to explore the costs of the council members joining PERF? Jorgensen was quoted saying that the resolution was going to be exploratory so they could obtain the numbers and decide what the worst case scenario and subsequent options would be if they wanted to become members of PERF. So Mr. Jorgensen is saying that the resolution is the triggering document to explore. I am saying, and I should correct that, PERF is saying the actuarial survey is the triggering document. In February of this year, I received a letter, and it's here for you. It said, "Thank you for your interest in enlarging your participation in the Public Employees Retirement Fund. Please find the attached actuarial survey form needed to determine the cost of participation." Notice it doesn't say the resolution needed to determine the cost of participation. It says the survey needed to determine the cost of participation. It further says, in order to process your information for the January 1st, 2018 coverage date, we must receive the completed survey form by August 1st, 2017. It doesn't say that they must receive the resolution. It says they must receive the completed survey. The cost of participation is determined by the results of the study. The results of the study will be returned to you by September 30th, 2017. So the survey and the study that PERF will complete determines the costs. The survey is the triggering document, not the resolution. Here is the actual survey form that I completed and submitted to PERF on March 13th of this year. This section is basically just basic employer information. This section asks, when do you want to enlarge? We marked January 1st, 2018. I think it's important to note that you can enlarge 2 times a year, July 1st and January 1st. However, the law very clearly states that elected officials cannot alter their salaries. They cannot increase pay. They cannot add benefits midway through a year. So their only option to become members of PERF would be January 1st, 2018, because it starts a new year. The July 1st option is not an option for elected officials. It then asks in this box the amount of service you would like a cost estimate for. It was requested that I mark all past service. Who are the employees, or in this case, the elected officials? What are their titles? Do they have any prior employment under PERF, TERF, or the 77 fund? PERF is the Public Employee Retirement Fund. TERF is the Teacher Retirement Fund. And 77 is the fund for our police department and usually fire departments as well. Gender. What date were you hired, or in this case, elected? And what is your present annual salary? I also think it's important to note these salaries are for town council participation only. There are some members who may serve on other boards for additional pay, but those boards are not calculated into these figures because this is only enlarging for town council members. Page 2 asks for salaries for 2008 through 2017. Page 3, 2001 in our case to 2007. So again, this form is the triggering document, and it was submitted to PERF on March 13th. This is the form needed to find out what the costs will be. So that leads me to the next question. Does Resolution 2017-04-27A enroll town council members in PERF? Mr. Forbes was quoted in the Times article from May 8th as saying this resolution does not enroll us in PERF. It will require a second resolution in order for us to become a part of it. Councilman Christian Jorgensen, an attorney, later said that the resolution was not to accept PERF or allocate town funds. Well, I disagree. Resolution 2017-04-27A does enroll the council members in PERF. Here in section 1 of the resolution, it says, the town of St. John, Lake County, Indiana, elects to confirm its status as a participating political subdivision or miscellaneous participating entity in the Public Employees Retirement Fund and enlarges its participation by including classes of employees as provided on the attached Appendix A. Here's Appendix A. This resolution is saying we are enlarging for locally elected town council members. We are enlarging our membership in PERF to cover this position. The resolution also states in Section 7, the positions listed on the attached document are declared covered by the fund, the plan, or both, as indicated in this document. They are declared covered. Section 10, this resolution shall be in full force and effect from date of passage and upon approval of the Board of Trustees of the Indiana Public Retirement System. It says it shall be in full force and effect. To me, this very clearly states that this is enrolling them in PERF. Do the council members have to contribute for their retroactive years of service? Remember, on the survey that I completed, I was requested to mark all past years of service. So, do the council members pay for that? The answer is no. According to Maritha from PERF, the town is responsible for 100% of the cost to purchase all prior years of service. The town pays for retroactive years of service. How much is that going to cost the town? We don't know yet. We'll find out the cost on or about September 30th, 2017. On or about September 30th of this year, we'll receive a letter from PERF, very similar to this, where it will tell us how much it costs for all past years of service. Attached to this letter on September 30th, they will provide us with the resolution, and it's due back to them by November 30th, 2017. We will not find out how much it costs until September 30th of this year. My biggest question was why then pass a resolution in April? if we're not going to find out the costs until September, and the resolution itself is not due until November? Why are we putting the cart before the horse? Do the council members have to contribute for their participation beginning on January 1st, 2018? So we spent a little bit of time looking at retroactive coverage. Let's look from January 1st, 2018 going forward. Do the council members have to contribute? The answer is no. They do not have to contribute. According to the resolution they attempted to pass, in Section 4, it states that effective the first day of January 2018, the participating political subdivision, which is us, the town of St. John, shall pick up all or 3% of the mandatory contribution for all locally elected town council members. Said employees shall not be entitled to choose to receive the contributed amounts directly instead of having them paid by the employer. This doesn't say that the town may pick up. It says the town shall pick up. The town has to pick up their 3% mandatory contribution. The town has to pick it up. So do employees have to contribute to PERF? Yes. Every full-time employee, including me, yet I am an elected official, must make the 3% mandatory contribution. Just to kind of sum things up here for you, I created a very basic timeline. On February 9th of this year, Steve Kill, he's our town manager, Mark Barney, who's a council member, and myself conducted a teleconference with PERF. This is on February 9th of this year, just to get some basic information about the process and understand exactly what we needed to do. During this phone call, it was requested that they send us the paperwork. So by February 14th, my office received a letter from PERF and the actual actuarial survey that needed to be completed. March 13th of this year, my office emailed the completed survey to PERF. This now makes our file pending. Remember, this is the triggering document. We are now pending to enlarge for the town council members in PERF. The actuarial survey, and I'm going to jump ahead a little bit, the actuarial survey isn't actually due until August 1st. So we're ahead of the game by having it submitted in March because it isn't due until August 1st. By September 30th, the results of the actual actuarial survey will be returned to my office. At that time, PERF will provide us with the same resolution that they were attempting to pass in April for the town council electing to join PERF. So in September, we will receive how much it costs, and PERF will provide us a blank copy of that same resolution if the council members decide they want to move forward. The resolution is due November 30th. Okay, so basically you're giving yourself 1 month in October. At the October Town Council meeting, the town council members would have to pass the resolution. I guess really they would give themselves 2 months. They could do it in October or November, but it has to be back to PERF by November 30th. In December, PERF Board of Trustees meet to approve the submitted resolution. So basically a board for PERF gets together, they take a look at all the resolutions and paperwork, and they make sure that everybody meets the criteria that they require. Then January 1st, 2018, council members would now become a covered position. I know there was some speculation as far as why I chose to bring this forward, and I think I've been pretty clear in that I didn't feel at the April meeting that it was very transparent, the way it was listed on the agenda, the short notice, the lack of detail. I just didn't feel that it was very transparent. I also cannot understand why in the world you would pass the resolution at the April meeting before the results or costs are presented to the town, and when you still have time to get the resolution submitted to PERF. I felt from a financial standpoint that it's irresponsible to commit to something before knowing the impact that it's going to have on the community. I certainly did not bring this forward because I hold a grudge towards one or more council members or to attempt to give the council bad press. I brought it forward because I felt that it's my duty or my job as the financial officer of this town to bring it forward. This pretty much sums up my presentation. Again, please feel free to reach out to me should you have any questions, concerns, thoughts, you want me to research something further. And again, I thank you so much for your time. Hope you all have a good day.